Awesome. Hey, Dave, thank you. How's my volume?
Your volume's great.
How's my picture? How's my long hair? How's my guys? Check this out. Like this is just not right. Um, so glad to be with you. I'm gonna set my watch for 10 minutes, and that way we'll know that we're like a third of the way through. Just kidding. I can't even introduce myself, guys, in 5 minutes. I'm super pumped to be with you. Here's the message. I'm gonna quote the illustrious elite pro 8 Everett Schilling. I picked this up from what he dropped earlier, and I'm so grateful for the training and everything that we've heard today. The power of the one versus the power of the many. The secret to understanding and experiencing financial options, flexibility. I love the word freedom. Just in my life, that's a principle I believe is exercising my freedom, right? Being able to choose where I want to be and what I want to do and who am I going to do this with and how am I going to help people, comes from understanding the power of the many. And today I want to talk to you about a process. My name is Seth Mulder. I'm a professional network marketer. I wasn't always an entrepreneur, guys. In fact, I was probably the last guy who was going to be an entrepreneur. In fact, when I worked corporate America for 10 years, in fact, that's where Dave Fleming and I first met a gazillion decades ago. I was voted by my coworkers. I'd been there 10 years, guys, going on 10 years. I was voted by my coworkers most likely to be a lifer, most likely to be the last guy standing in that company, stuck somewhere in the lower middle, right? And then entrepreneurship found me because of a need. And what I want to talk to you today about is the process of going from the one, that's you, to the many. So many people love to talk about the M word. What's the M word? Can somebody drop it in the comment section? I'll give you 3 seconds. We're so excited because we're experiencing so much M. The M word is momentum, right? That word gets money. I love, okay, I want more money. Jack Zink, I see you got momentum, and some others. We all want momentum, and sometimes we talk about momentum. Yeah, we got so much momentum here. I'm going to talk about like the real process today, because I think so much of our lives is about expectations. If you expect that you as one individual, one person, Everett Schilling, right, who just preceded me, Greg Deeker, okay, 2 distributors, elite distributors who've had tremendous results, they would absolutely tell you that momentum has hit their groups. They've experienced some momentum. But they would, and they would say, it's not about me. And at the same time, if they don't show up, if they don't do their work as the one, then we're never going to see momentum. I think momentum is one of the most overused words in our industry. It's incorrectly used. It's repetitiously used. And momentum doesn't happen all the time, guys. And don't worry about that. Don't expect that, hey, I got in and I've hit Pro 3 or Pro 2 or Pro 4 or Pro 7. When is momentum hitting? Momentum is something that you pursue. So let me just share my philosophy about after 18 years as a professional in the industry. I'm always pursuing momentum, and there are occasions where I'm able to touch it. So don't get so hung up on that. Build your belief, okay? Or I should say, it starts with belief. Find your passion. Build the fire. And that's where I'm going to spend most of my time today, and pursue momentum, okay? It's all based on belief. Being here today. I read up until a few minutes ago, somewhere when Everett was talking, I read every single chat. I read every one of your names who was on here, and congratulations, thanks for being here. The number one reason you're here today is to build your belief. I believe in skills development. Gotta have it. You hustle is great, but it's great to hustle when you've got some skills. So we got to be here for the skills. Love the product training, but the product's not going to change. It's about your belief. We've got what I believe is the biggest single leap in in certainly our generation in the wellness industry, there's so much to believe about this product. Pardon me, so much to believe in how we can touch people, but it starts with your belief. And our business really comes down to one thing: transferring belief. So you're going to transfer the belief, and you're going to turn that, you're going to find your passion. And passion is when you put your belief into action. And no matter what, no matter if they say yes, no matter if they say no, no matter if they say not this week, not next week, no matter if they don't pick up the phone, they don't answer the text, because you have a belief, it transfers into a passion that impels you and compels you to take action. And so we go to work. We pull out the launch guide, right? So that we can launch our business, be our own CEO. And here's what happens. Sometimes we get so stinking excited about this business, and we feel the passion. And guys, that is real, okay? We feel this passion, and we just think that just because we get involved, right? And I'm going to talk about building the fire today for a few minutes. But we think that because we're fuel, right? We're passion fuel. If you just throw my log on the fire, and with my upline, who's one of my good friends, and their upline, and now we got 3 logs, and this thing is just blazing, and we're hitting momentum, right? So let me talk about building a fire, because this is all about building something of substance, something with staying power. You have no interest in being here just so that it can be a flash in the pan, just so that you could, use a product, share it with some friends, and make some money, and then be done, okay? Just so that we could pop, explode as a company, and drop, which does happen. We're here to impact the world. We're here to change the human condition. This isn't just a 1-month project, okay? This is a life project. Now, I don't want to take my whole life to get it started either. So I'm not going to come at you with a just do it every day and someday it'll all come. I'm going to, pardon me, I'm going to tell you how to build a fire. From belief to passion, passion to the fire, and from fire to pursuing that momentum. So I live on a little acreage. I grew up on a ranch back in the day, and now we have a little acreage, horses, walnut groves, riding arena. I'm so grateful for this industry. I'm so grateful for the many mentors who poured into me and invested into me over the many, many years, because I get to live this dream, and I'm still living my dream. And I'm not at the peak, guys. I'm in the trenches, building the fires with you. But down in part of our property, we have a burn pile. Okay, this is where we take the small branches. I just had a tree that died, like an 80-year-old walnut tree, died last year, blew over in a storm this year. We've been cutting it up and planking, and we're going to make some stuff out of the beautiful walnut wood. But the small branches, the dead leaves and stuff, we're burning it. So this is what my kids like to do. Their job is to burn it, haul it, burn it, right? And it's yours. So I go down there, and what do they have? They got thick wood, right? All kind of spread on top of each other. Imagine a tree limb with branches out, and another tree limb with branches out, and another tree limb with branches out. So there's all this space. There's all this space between the fuel, the potential fuel. Does that make sense? Okay. In other words, it's not all compacted tightly close together. Belief is transferred from proximity, guys. And I don't mean face-to-face proximity. That works. It's transferred from connection, proximity. We can do that online. We are doing online. You can do that in social networks. You can do that face-to-face, right? Kneecap to kneecap. It all works. But it's got to be proximity. If you don't have conversations, everything is separated, like these branches are separated, it's going to be really hard to get things started, let alone get things moving, let alone, and the most important thing, what are we seeking? Pursuing momentum, keep things moving, okay? You got to be smart when you're building this fire. So what do? They got all these branches, so we got this, 8-foot pile that if we were to break stuff down and condense it, it'd probably be like a 2-foot pile. Does that make sense? Are you visualizing this with me? If you're getting this, drop a comment in and just talk to me here, okay? So here's what they do next. They grab a 5-gallon container of gasoline and they pour it on it. Okay. Then they take a lighter, right? One of those like barbecue lighters about this long, and they light it. And what happens, guys? What happens? Boom. That thing lights up. It goes. Why? Because gasoline is quick burning fuel. But we are not here to build that kind of a fire. That kind of fire will pop and drop. It will explode and then fizzle, right, Kelly Clement? It goes out. This is exactly what happens, guys. All these massive branches, dry branches. I mean, this is like fuel, right? We could be using this. This has all the potential in the world if we can transfer the belief, if we can transfer the ember, if we can transfer the spark to it. But what happens is when they pour the gasoline on it, the thing lights up like, like a Roman candle, and then it doesn't stay. Just doesn't stay. Like, it looks beautiful, and then the gasoline burns off of the outside fibers of those branches, and we're done. Okay, let me and then I go down there. It's like, we've gone through 5 gallons of gas, guys. What's going on? And they just kind of sheepishly grin. Why? Why do we do that? Why do they do it? Because it's easy. Well, they're teenagers. Let's just get the point. It's fun. But a lot of us may have those expectations in this business. There are companies that take that approach. This is not a bikinis and BMWs business here. We're all about foundations. We're all about sustainability. We're about not just getting orders. We're about keeping and building a subscription base. I'm building a subscription business. So let me explain how fire really should work. I do a lot of work in the kind of the American mountain man, the pre-Western area, pre-1840, buckskins and black powder. That's just one of my passions in life. So I'll go out with some friends and we'll do it old school, okay? No lighters, no gasoline, okay? No kerosene, just maybe 2 sticks, right? You're gonna rub a stick in your hand, right, to try to create that ember. You maybe take a strike or old flint and steel. You kind of get my drift. We're talking old school, guys. When you do it old school, you have. And when I talk old school, I'm not talking just about old school in our business face to face. I'm talking about the principles. Old school is you got to have conversations every day. I don't care if you're doing this social media, on the phone, web chat, Zoom, face to face, coffee shop, living room to living room, seminar room to seminar room. It is all about conversations, the number of conversations you are having, and those can be the spark. So when you're building a real fire, you're going to create a spark, and the Indians, the Native Americans, sorry, that was a battery notification. The Native Americans would take literally a stick in their hand, right, and they would create an ember here from a bottom piece of wood. They'd get that ember, tiny ember, or you could take flint and steel, right, and spark that and get that to fall on a piece of charred cloth or something. And there's just one spark, guys. I just want to show you the power of this principle, because I think if you walk away with this power of this principle, you understand where you fit into the process. You understand how indispensable you personally are, because your belief combined with your passion is just actionable belief, okay? That is the ember, the spark. Your belief is the spark, your passion is the ember. It's in action, it's moving, it's burning, but it's tiny. Listen, you want 10,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 subscriptions in your business? My business is just one subscription. Just one tiny ember. And what happens is you get that ember going, and it's just small. It's about this tiny, guys. It's glowing. It's glowing and it's burning, and it might be burning a little piece of cloth or something with all these little fibers, and it's going fast and it's hot. I mean, it'll burn your hand, but that ain't no momentum, right? Don't call that momentum. Don't get too excited and say, man, we hit momentum, because it hurts. It burned my hand. We're not there yet. Understand the big process. Be patient. Be patient to realize that you're doing an important part of the process, but it's not the whole thing. So you get that little tiny little red, golden red ember. And what happens is you then transfer that ember into the next phase, the next step of your business. And if you've done it right, you have the next piece of what we'll call tinder to receive the transference of the heat of that ember, of that spark. Does that make sense? And what it looks like is I went around, I had to go in the woods, I got a cedar tree, I pulled off some of that bark or some of the bark that sheds, it kind of just falls apart in your hands. And then I work it with my hands and I push it like this, I push it like this, push it, and I'm taking this kind of bark, okay, this thin bark, and I'm stringing it out. So it's all these tiny bark fibers and frankly, bark dust. And what happens, a beautiful thing, when I take this golden ember and I put it in that tinder, it starts to transfer. And one little ember will touch. It's just so amazing to watch. It'll touch this very tiny, thin piece of cedar bark, almost like a cedar bark thread, if you can remember. That's how bad that's how much we've worked this down and broken it down. It is wood and fuel that is ready to receive an ember. Some of your friends are not ready. Some of your friends are wet wood. All right. And that's okay. In 1998, I was a wet wood. I had a friend who has now been making for 20 plus years. He inspired me. Thank you, Sean D. He inspired me, but I didn't catch it. He tried to inspire me, maybe I said, and I just said, no, not for me. I'm not willing to make the sacrifice because I don't want what you got because it's not important to me. Okay. Did that change his spark? No, he didn't burn out because I didn't accept that transference of belief. He kept on because he knew that there was other fuel, there were other people, there was other bark that was prepared, that had been broken down, that had been humbled, that had been prepared to receive the belief, to receive the passion, to receive that burning ember. So it's so amazing what happens when you see this ember, that your original ember, you be put in here in kind of this little ember nest, and then you blow on it, and it just starts to transfer these little, not sparks, but it's almost like watching like a fuse, right? A really slow fuse. It really just, this transfers this to this to this to this. It's an amazing chain reaction, and that thing starts to smoke. Marlena, analogies galore. By the way, if you're getting drowned out in my analogy, just say I'm drowning, okay? But you start to blow on it, just ever so gently, and it starts to smoke. And smoke is a good thing. Smoke is a manifestation. It's proof that what you're doing is working. And the more smoke that comes out, the more you pour into it, the more you invest into it. In other words, the more that it's receiving the energy that you're transferring it to it, the more you put into it. Okay, you're not drowning, Charlene, you're doing the backstroke. I love that. That's a comment of the day. Love it. So the more it receives, the more you put into it. Now, let me just pause here. I've got this fragile, your businesses are fragile, guys, because we're talking about being at the inception, okay? You got a blazing fire, not so fragile. Bring on the rain, right? I got this. But you're right here, man, all kinds of things can get you distracted and can blow out the fire. Protect this like it's your life, because someday your life may absolutely depend on it. I'm gonna go one step further. I promise you that your future life depends on what you're doing right now, either in what you realize and the dreams you realize, or the could have beens, the dream life that you could have realized. It does matter right now. Don't freak out. Don't worry. Don't get depressed. Don't have anxiety. Just do your job. Do your work. Belief to the passion. Build the fire. Pursue momentum. So if I blow too hard on this really young fire, and I just like, I can actually blow it out. But if I match my investment with its receiving of what I'm giving it, smoke, More smoke, more investment for me. More smoke, more investment for me. It's starting to billow with smoke right now. No flames, guys. No flames yet. Smoke's coming. Smoke's coming. I mean, you just think, I mean, you're wondering like, what is going on here? Because there's just out of a little tiny nest of bark, I've got like smoke coming. There's no fire, guys, yet. There's no momentum, okay? But you're following the process. You are building, okay? And the more it gives, the more I give. And all of a sudden, after you do that, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, it's different every time. Every person is different. Boom. It ignites. And it is a magical, it's truly a chemical, magical breakthrough, beautiful experience. And boom, I've got fire. I'm not done, guys. I've got to now take this, because what happens if I don't do anything with this? What happens if I don't escalate this? What happens if I don't build on this? I'm going to burn through that bark, which is tinder. It's not long-term fuel. It's not my small logs, which are my small sticks. And then I get my small sticks going, and my, I get my medium size, and then I can put on this big old honking thing. I can throw a pallet right on there, and I got a bonfire. You have to take it to the next step of the process. So you get the flame going, you get it to where you want, you start putting small sticks on, and the flame transfers the flame and the ember to those small sticks, which have more staying power. But you could have never lit those small sticks on your own, not even with your Bic lighter. It just doesn't work like that. And then you go from small to a little bigger, and the fire's going, and you're giving it more oxygen, fueling that fire, and then you're giving it more and more, and then you've got a blaze, and there's no looking back. That is how you build the fire. Let me compare it to us and our business as I close out today. You always be adding to your belief. That belief, the belief that there's a better way, a belief that there is something that's meant for you. There's a plan for you. There is a hope for you. No, notice those aren't knowledges, by the way. That's not knowledge. It's not like done, check, I'm done. It's belief, meaning you got a choice whether or not to believe today. And it is a choice. It is work, but keep believing. The decision to believe may be the most important decision that you ever make, because if you don't make that decision, nothing beyond that will ever be realized. That belief then is transferred as you find a passion. Passion is actionable belief. With that passion, the ember, you now can transfer that to other people. Every single day, what we're doing is we're transferring that to other people. Some people are prepared. Their bark is broken down. It's ready to accept, and it's ready, man. It is ready just to go on fire, right? It's ready to go on flame. And then you take their flame and you put that into the business system. You launch them through the launch guide. And then you take, then they bring their next person a small stick, and they bring their next person a small stick, and they bring their next person a small stick. And all of a sudden, it starts to get fun, and it starts to be warm. And you start to think, I'm there. You're not there. Just trust the process. Keep it moving and build your fire. Don't worry about when's momentum going to come. Listen, you'll know it. When you're roasting a gazillion hot dogs and 20 million marshmallows, you will know that momentum is here. Just focus on protecting your belief, finding your passion, and building the fire. Here's what you need to go do today. Launch guide. You go through that, and there's an actionable item. Lead 25 people through a 3-step process. 25 people through a 3-step process that looks something like 1, 2, 3, and start them. 1, 2, 3, and start them. Your job as an individual today, as the individual ember, as the one that wants to create many, is to start filling out that form and go 1, 2. I got my friend Jack. I helped him with step 1. Awesome. Step 2, I got to get him to step 3. I've got my friend Sarah. I'm inviting her to step 1 today. Oh, she completed it. Boom. I've got my friend Max. He's done 1, 2, and 3. Max has done 1, 2, and 3, but he hasn't told me anything yet. I'm going to say, Max, I'm starting a group today. Are you in with me? I'm starting a health transformation group to help people start their biohacking journey this week. Are you in? That's a starting script, not a closing script, a starting script. Hey, Becky, thanks for taking a look at this information. I'm super excited. Thanks for taking a look at these first 3 steps of this simple business system. I'm starting a business mentoring group this week to help you get to Pro 2 in your first 30 days and Pro 3 in your first 90 days. Are you in? That's a starting script. The system is 1, 2, 3, start, right? Those 3 simple steps in the launch guide. Take 25 people through there. That's a chunk of change, guys. That's not something you're going to do in a week, okay? I'm not talking about inviting 25 people. I'm talking about go launch your business and help 25 people go through those first 3 steps, and you'll be flipping, moving. That will be transferring belief and passion and embers to that next person, okay? That's what you need to do as an individual. As a leader, you need to walk your new distributors or anybody who wants to start anew, because I'm doing this too. I'm in, guys. I mean, if you're in on the 25, would you put 25 launch, or just put 25 in the comment section today? If you're in to go launch your business and walk 25 people through the 1, 2, 3 ITT, right? Oh, 10% battery. I'm finishing up, Dave. 1, 2, 3 ITT start, then drop a 25 in there. I'm doing mine right here. Count me in. I'm in on my 25. If you do that, you will, I'm going to recruit. You're going to recruit. You're going to have new customers. You'll probably have new distributors as well. Now, as a leader, help your people do it. Don't just go tell them to do it. Okay? That's the absolute worst mentoring in the world. Just go do it. Walk them through it. Get on a call with them. Get face-to-face with them. Invite them on a power hour, a mentoring session. Stop training them and say, let's do this together. Let's work on our first 5 together and get these first 5 into 1, 2, 3, start. Belief, passion, build your fire, pursue momentum. The power of one turning into the power of many. Let's go put the move into the movement.